Little tweaks, K-pop demon hunters. A couple of disclaimers before I begin this video essay. I love this movie. I grew up on Magical Girls series, I'm a casual enjoyer of K-pop, and I'm a very staunch advocate of well-written female characters. You could really tell that every creative involved put a lot of heart into this movie. The visuals were fantastic, the color language was gorgeous, the shape language gorgeous, compositions beautiful, the music was lovely, inspired, every single piece had its own direction. The characters themselves are charming, and most of all, in my opinion, the voice direction and voice acting were phenomenal. I watched this movie 3 times with 3 different friends. All 3 enjoyed it, laughed at it, even cried at some parts. But the same complaint also kept popping up. This pacing's kind of off. Well, not exactly like that. More like this needed more time to cook. Today, we're going to be addressing the part of the movie that I think needs just a little tweaking. If I had to summarize the issues with this movie in 3 points, it'd be the logic behind the demons, the found family aspect, and the romance. Spoilers ahead, last chance to turn back. Demons in this movie are soul-eating monsters marked by holographic tattoo-like markings. They can appear human-like, but their true forms range from squeaky little guys to sexy K-pop idols. Demons are ruled by the demon king Guima, whose voice seeps into their consciousness and whispers their darkest thoughts, their shame. They're mostly sealed in the demon world by the Honmun, a mystical barrier upkept by 3 female guardians called hunters, whose songs can move humans' hearts. These feelings power the Honmun. Our main girl, Rumi, is the daughter of one of the previous hunters who passed away. Her father was a demon, and that's honestly all we know about him, which is a huge bummer. Let's start with the big question about demons. Can they be good? The movie does not answer this. We're introduced to Jinu, a once human, now demon, who kind of regrets leaving behind his family. He and Rumi bond, and we will get to that later in the essay, and Rumi does offer him a get-out-of-jail card, not so much for literally anyone else. Literally right before the Idol Awards, Rumi goes up to Jinu like, "Hey, Jinu, you know what? Fuck all those demons, except for you. You should just, hang out here in the human world while we seal demons in hell forever." I thought they'd come back to that, and maybe there was an attempt to, since Rumi expresses her desire to make a new Honmun. But the end of the movie doesn't really show demons and humans coexisting, or happy demons, or good demons other than the little pets. I don't know. I think, based on the way the movie tries to redeem Jinu and the fact that Rumi's huntress mother hooked up with a demon in the first place, the answer to "can demons be good" was supposed to be. So let's prove it. Let's have, say, the Saja boys. They're full demons, always demons, pure blood demons unlike Jinu. Maybe they look down on humans at first. When the main girls run into them for the first time, it's not just Jinu who shoves Rumi aside. Abby, or any of them really, makes some offhand comment. "See? Told you it'd be a piece of cake. A little eye candy, and they're all goners. Small miracle we lost to them before." That was our pops, Jen. We're different. I like the idea of them being a little on the younger side. This helps play into the parallels between them and huntrix, who are rearing to go with demons because Celine and all the grown-ups have been saying, "Demons are evil, they can't feel, yada yada, it's time to kill them." So then we get to the variety show. On top of the hot sauce chugging, the host shoves a microphone in front of their faces while they're dying, and wow, this is a crazy bioweapon, this hot sauce. Maybe humans have some game after all. "Mr. Mysterious, you've been living in France this whole time. What's been your favorite part of Seoul since coming back?" And that wasn't part of the script, so Mysterious looks at Jinu and he shrugs, and Mysterious thinks about all the luxurious idol experiences they've been getting and blurts out, "The saunas." Cue fangirl squeal and everything else. But later, when the girls are chasing them into the sauna areas, you see Mysterious lazing in a pool for a second, alongside one of the old men. He hears them coming, and he clinks a glass with the old man like a little cheers, and now it's time to run. It's these little 5-second 3-second additions that really add up and give the characters something to work towards instead of just being a little bit of eye candy. Now, let's say the autograph section. It doesn't have to be a crazy change. You can keep the humor, just maybe a couple of crazy Saja Boy fans who've been paying attention to the things that they say in interviews approach the autograph table and slam, 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 here's all of the gifts. You like apricots, right? Here, I remember you said it was way too hot. I got you an electric fan. And it's frenetic and silly and stupid, but it's a little sincere. You see the Saja Boys pause, and they sign the poster, and maybe one of them, for the first time since coming to the human world, asks for a fan's name. You see what I'm saying? These aren't crazy large changes, but by the time you get to the final showdown, and Guima's roaring for the lives of all the concert goers who came there because they were fans of the Saja Boys, you can have a big redemption moment, a big team-up moment. You can prove that demons aren't all just evil things to be killed. One complaint that I also had was that I felt there wasn't a super strong reason for Jinu to betray Rumi during the Idol Awards. There is the implication that he's crashing out after Guima reminds him of his failures, but I think it'd be stronger if Jinu really found a reason beyond himself to be fighting for, some actual big reason why he can't go along with Rumi's plan. Remember the little girl who gave Jinu a cute drawing? Let's go further. Let's drive home the fact that she reminds Jinu of the little sister that he left behind. And now there's this conflict because when he goes home to the demon world, there are also demon fans that are cheering for him too. And a little demon girl also runs up to him and does a quick soda pop pose, all cutesy. I'm cheering for you, Mr. Jinu, or something like that. It's cheesy, but whatever, it gets the point across. So when Jinu goes back to the Idol Awards and sabotages Rumi's show, it's because he can't be the only demon who gets to live on the other side. Now you have an actual ideological reason for the characters, the conflict. Just imagine it for a second. Right after the Idol Awards, when the huntrix group has broken up, Rumi goes up to Jinu. She's furious. She's mad. She goes, I'm a hunter. The fate of the world's counting on me. And you're throwing it all away because you just want to forget? And then Jinu shoots back because he's angry now too. I'm doing this because there's a world counting on me too. A pause. They're looking at each other. For the first time, they're looking at each other, really, in their demon forms. It's true. I started this for selfish reasons, but that's not why I'm ending this. Don't pretend you're doing this for the world, Rumi. You're just doing this so you can hide what you are. I think this leads really well into the scenes later on when Rumi's realizing that she's been hiding and running away from all of her issues. Okay, so demons. We've got the Saja Boys, we've got Jinu. But what about Rumi? We need Rumi to love herself, to not just want to show her markings, but actually confront what it means to be a half demon, to look at her demon side and say, hey, you know what? Maybe not everything about this is bad. So let's say post-award show. Rumi's at a low point. Huntrix is broken up. Jinu's betrayed her. She is alone, and she's back at the tree she hung out as a girl. I really love the scene with Rumi and Celine's argument, even if it was Celine's first non-flashback appearance. I think in regards to the demon aspect, we can push it more. The original takeaway I got from the scene was, you've been making me want to hide this demon part of myself because you can't bear to see it. All I wanted was your love, my friend's love, but the path you set out for me, the honeymoon I'm supposed to make, it's not the kind I want to make anymore. This is fantastic. The only thing is, I don't think there's anything about being a demon that Rumi actually likes. Just at the end of the movie, she stops hiding her markings. She doesn't actually embrace that demon side, she just shows it now. So let's pretend maybe demons can make illusions based on the soda pop visual effects that happen. Or maybe they can fashion things like the hat Jinu makes for the cat and crow. So Rumi, during her argument with Celine, goes, look at me. And Celine can't bring herself to look at this demon who's the only remnant of her found family. But a bird chirps on her shoulder. And then wind bursts past her, flower petals, cherry blossoms that are out of season. And she looks at Rumi. And a desolate glade becomes this countryside scene with a cherry tree and a river, and it's a place Celine hasn't gone to in years because she's locked in so much on Kpop in the city. See? It's not all that bad. Where did you learn how to? A friend. A demon friend? A good friend. We argued, though, and Celine walks along this riverbank that she hasn't seen in years. Your mother and I used to argue, too. And that's how Celine gives her blessing, sort of. A half resolution, not really, because there's still so many things that haven't been said. Go and find your friends. And maybe this time, maybe Rumi won't be late. Not like Celine was. And with that, we conclude demons can be good. Let's address Section 2, the girls, or rather, the found family aspect of this movie. Huntrix is the it girl group, the 5-time Idol Awards winner and global megastars. You've got cutesy, happy-go-lucky Korean-American Zoe, who grew up in the US. You've got cool, punkish, rebellious Mira, who's the black sheep of her family. And then you've got Rumi, the half-demon daughter of a previous huntress. The story tries to show that Huntrix, as a group, fulfills something emotionally for the girls. Zoe feels caught between two worlds and finally finds a home in her squad. Mira similarly never felt accepted by her family and finds a new family in the girls. Rumi's an orphan whose family, again, is Huntrix. Home, family, home, family, home, family, home, family. The squad is supposed to be a family. The thing is, we're told a lot of this. We'll get through this together, and I don't deserve a family. Those kinds of phrases. The girls do have a very tight-knit, snappy, infectiously fun energy bouncing off of each other, especially during the first act before any shit goes down. The thing is, that cute banter with them going back and forth can justify the three of them being friends. Good friends, close friends, best friends. Not enough for them to literally call each other family, especially when every single sequence after the first act has them getting frustrated at Rumi's secretiveness. Bar a side comment from the quack doctor, we don't see Mira's and Zoe's struggles until the very end. You don't have to introduce an entire subplot for them, just little details. Maybe, for example, Mira's older brother was supposed to show up at the live performance debut of Golden that Rumi runs out on, but Mira looks while she's looking for Rumi, and there's just this empty chair in the front row with Mira's brother's name on a piece of paper taped to it. And so later, during their late night talk, Rumi remembers that Mira was so excited about her brother coming, as much as a punk could be. And so she apologizes, and Mira shrugs it off. He didn't come anyways. It's okay. I've got you guys. Yeah, you've got us. Woohoo! That's right. Let's get drunk and crazy. This was supposed to be our break week anyways. And cheers. That's all. It's also completely optional, but if you wanted to, you could even have Mira's brother as one of the hypnotized crowd guys during the climax who gets saved by their singing. And you have a 5-second sequence where he looks at Mira, who's hugging her friends, and he flashbacks to their very stiff family portrait before turning away, and it's very bittersweet. Similarly, you could have Zoe during their takedown diss track brainstorming and throwing away her notebooks because she's so frustrated, only for Rumi or Mira to notice, and they uncrumble every single piece of paper and kind of frame it in their squad hallway or put it on the desk or something like that, because yeah, it might be super awfully hateful or whatever, but it's kind of catchy, and maybe they can reuse the melody and write more uplifting lyrics for it, and that new song becomes the end credits lead-in. Bam! Suddenly now you have the girls mutually supporting each other. It feels more like a family. And speaking of family, I want to address Celine, the most interesting character in a movie other than Bobby, in my personal opinion. I think it's criminal for her to have not sung in this. I also think it's very criminal for Celine to not have shown up in the movie at all until the very end. She only appears in the same flashback sequence that just repeats itself. So let's include her. It doesn't have to be a lot of extra scenes. It can just be 5 extra seconds to scenes that exist. Consider this. You have Celine with Bobby behind the scenes after Huntrix's fantastic first performance. And she applauds them and hugs all 3 of them and says they sung well, and then, in lowered voice so Bobby can't hear, I saw it too, the gold. You'll do what we failed to do. And when Zoe and Mira leave, Celine grabs Rumi by the wrist and tugs down her sleeves a little, and she just goes, keep it on. In that naggy mom way, very genial, you know? It's her way of showing love, even if it hits Rumi the wrong way. And then she even goes on to go, your mother would be very proud. Just things to drive home that Celine is looking at Rumi through the lens of her mother and not seeing Rumi for her. Similarly, she's there during the autograph scene. Maybe she even gets cornered by a fan who begs her to sing and she waves it off. I don't do that anymore. And there's pain in her voice because she lost her found family, Rumi's mother and their 3rd teammate. So when the big argument happens at the tree in the climax, after all of the changes we've made, Celine sees the way that Rumi's brave enough to embrace her demon side, even though she's afraid. And Celine sees a little of herself in Rumi this time, afraid yet brave enough to go against what she knows. So when Rumi leaves for the concert to stop Guima, Celine opens her mouth and uses this voice that she hasn't used in decades to sing and buy Rumi enough time. And with that, all our girlies have something to do. Now on to the last section, romance. The romance between Rumi and Jinu was the part most of my friends pointed out right away as feeling rushed. I think they actually devoted quite a large amount of time to this relationship, and it's got good sauce. But what was missing were two very key parts that made everything feel rushed. Number one, a moment to really justify why Rumi believes Jinu can be good. And then number two, a moment to really justify why Jinu believes Rumi, of all people, can understand him. The first missing thing, a good point for Jinu, was kind of attempted with the sequence in which he covers her exposed markings with a handkerchief. But even in the movie, that wasn't the reason Rumi decided to trust him. She only did so once he started trauma dumping and technically lying about that trauma dumping. If you want a convincing romance, it needs to be built on something that is real. Instead, picture a sequence in which that baby fan gets separated from her mom, and Jinu and Rumi have to work to reunite her. This gives ways for Rumi to discover that Jinu's actually super soft towards this little girl who probably reminds him of his little sister. And maybe he shows some genuine regret and sadness while watching the kid embrace her mom. Or perhaps one of the Saja boys sabotages the girls' stage uniforms, and Jinu restores them because he, quote, fights fair. Or one of the souls who got stolen over to the demon world was this kid fan, and Jinu feels so wrecked about it that he sneaks said soul all the way back to the human world and returns her to her normal body. Something like that. Honestly, you could go the cliche K-drama route and have him dive off a bridge to save someone, or save a puppy from a fire, literally anything. There's reasons why these scenes exist in any rom-com. It's to show what there is to admire about the other person. We never get a moment where Jinu does something to truly justify why he should be admired. He's just cute. Now for point 2. Justify Jinu trusting Rumi of all people. In the original movie, the thing that kicks off Jinu's contact with her is that he discovers she's a half-demon. That's it. This could be effective. For example, if you showed that Jinu felt isolated and alienated by the demon world, maybe he doesn't get along with the Saja boys, or maybe he gets treated differently because he's not fully demon. Suddenly, wow, that girl's a half-demon should be a big deal. But we don't see this. Instead, I think the movie was going for Jinu was tricking Rumi and started to feel like he could be a good person because she believed in him. And that is a fun direction. But that direction only works if her belief was based in something other than him having fans or him lying about his backstory. Imagine her saying the, quote, maybe listen to those voices instead of the ones inside your head, after Jinu actually does something worth praising. Regarding the last scene where Jinu dies for Rumi, I think it's okay. Selfish guy dies because he's inspired. Rumi's showing her demon markings while still not actually giving a fuck about demons. But honestly, I would have preferred him dying for the little girl if he had to die, or something that ties back to his original shame and sin, which is abandoning his family. We never see him redeem himself for this, or come back to it, or admit his feelings about it, or anything like that. And that would have been a really good way of kind of wrapping up this character. Alternatively, as stated in the first act of this video, I think that when Rumi says, I want to make a new honmun, that should really be a new honmun where everyone works together to make this new world where humans and demons can coexist in harmony. For all of its flaws, K-pop Demon Hunters is a hugely ambitious project that pays off in several different ways. I can only imagine the 7 years of hard work put into it. And in an industry with so many remakes and sequels, it's really nice to see original stories succeed. This was my first video essay ever that I wrote in a fervor after a rewatch of this movie. I hoped you liked it, and if so, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, and see you again.